Hiya. Today, I want to ask you a question, and we can see if we can answer it, which is, what makes something haunted? What defines something as being haunted? Is it maybe something like infrasound, a low bass spectral sort of frequency that we as humans can't hear, but we can feel it? That feeling of unease, being unnerved. Is it that? Is it the sheer obvious fact that, for example, we might be in a haunted woods, that somebody's told us that it's haunted, and by default we assume that it's haunted? And so obviously with the trick of the light, strange sounds that we're not familiar with, and all these types of things, does that define it as being haunted? What if it's our primal fears as being cavemen, that we were afraid to go out into the dark because we knew that if we went out there, there's every chance we'd get eaten? What if it's that? What if it's because we're sort of afraid that we know that if we die, that might be it, that there is nothing else for us after that? And maybe we need to sort of try and find some justification for it, that there might be something beyond what we know. Maybe. Everybody, so we're going to start our journey to what could be argued as one of the most haunted sort of paths in Kent. And what was really interesting was I've just met up with Chloe, who is an old friend of mine. Actually, funny enough, she was just walking her dogs, and she's probably going to watch this, I'm hoping, and she would justify it as well by saying it's really eerie and creepy here. So let's talk about it. We're at Winfield Mill. If you didn't know already, you need to look back at 2 videos. So in the community Phoenix history comments section, if one of you would be kind enough just to do me a favour, can you find Winfield Mill for me and just put a link in there below? And obviously, can you put a link in for my mum's paranormal encounter, just for everybody else to help them along? I would do it on the about section below, but it'd be nice actually if some of you can find it for me. That'd be fantastic. So 2 videos, Winfield Mill, which is where we're at, and then the paranormal encounter with my mum, which is all here. So this is Winfield Mill. Winfield Lane is there. The ruins of Winfield Mill are in here. You can sort of see that. Can you see that? Look. Again, that's all in the Winfield Mill video. There you go. It's part of the house that used to belong here. You've got a well that's here. And my mum obviously told the story about the homeless man who was living here, that her and my dad used to encounter, and then her paranormal encounter. So we're going to start from here. Now normally the best place to start would actually be from the opposite side of the cinder path, but we're going to do this. So what you need to do is just come along with me, even if you're not a believer in the paranormal or anything being haunted. It's quite nice that I just had a justification from Chloe as well, which is great. But we're here, and we're going to take you from the opposite end. So actually, funny enough, it would be creepier on the way back, but here we are. So that is the bush where my mum saw her weird encounter. And this is all part of the cinder path. There's some ruins that are there from Winfield Mill. There's more ruins that are behind us, but we're going to start our journey now into the infamous cinder path, which I believe personally is a very haunted and unique place. And it's noises like that from birds and wildlife that if you're down here on a night, it's going to be very eerie and scary. It's about midday today, and yeah, we're having a look, having a gander. So this is us walking through, and already you've got a few windy turns, and then it will just sort of drop in light. Looking back. So to define something being haunted, I think obviously it's when you have a lot of people sort of say about their encounters and what's eerie about it. And this place definitely ticks all the right boxes for a lot of people to know about this place as well. If you know about the cinder path here in Crouch Bastard, you know that it is haunted, and it's got a special sort of vibe about itself. But yeah, you need to have a look for yourself. This is the Bourne River. There's some people walking, so I'll see you in a minute. I've just got to stop and then let them go by. Okay. Proving to be really popular today, people. So yeah. It's just a very eerie place to be when there's not that many people around. Just probably pick the worst. Probably pick the time when everybody's here, but yeah. So the only other bit of associated history on top of this is that on the left hand side it was all orchards, fruit orchards, and there was a Polish hurricane pilot who crashed on the adjacent field just to our left here, a little bit further up. But mostly on our left hand side here is all boggy and marshy, and this path is an ancient path. It's been here since time memorial. It's very old. In there, that's roughly where those watercress beds are, or were. You can see that. Let me zoom in. We've got the brick that they sort of divided off into these little sections to sort of procure the watercress. So they were literally beds. In fact, I don't really want to get in there, but can you see? So that's where they would have grown the watercress. And that's it, history-wise, for everybody. But it's this water, isn't it? It's what they talk about. This spiritual argument about there being water, and that water's a great conductor of spiritual energy, if you believe that sort of thing. Again, you know, I'm looking at it from a practical and historical exploration. And it just gets a little bit creepy and eerie. And I can't tell you how many times me and my friends have walked down this path. And it was interesting just seeing Chloe and talking to her about it. And she said something really interesting about it, which I totally agree with, is that some days you can come down here and you won't feel anything at all. But then there's other times you come down here and you just want to get out as quick as possible. And again, you know, I say this from a sort of, so I mean, this is, I say this from sort of experience of going into places that are reputedly haunted and stuff, and I've never really sort of had any vibe about it. There's a danger, deep water, keep away sign, because there is sort of, it's a perfect place to bury bodies, really. A lot of sort of muddy and marshy, boggy land that's here. But like I said, on the opposite side, that side, the River Bourne. So here's some little lake stream in there. And again, this has been really untouched. So you don't really know who's been using this, you know. Your mind can wander and it can sort of speculate and stuff. But there is just definitely a vibe about this place that just doesn't feel right. I don't know whether it's because you can sort of, because of when it gets like this, the changing the light, when it becomes overgrown, the fact that you do naturally just want to keep looking behind you. And I'm not the first person to say that either. A lot of people, you just feel like it's like, you know, I said before, it's that sort of vibe of, if somebody was to describe to you what infrasound was, like that uncomfortable feeling, but there's nothing around here to suggest that there would be anything that would trigger off something like that. But it's just very creepy knowing that on both sides you've got a stream which then leads out onto a field, an open farmer's field on the opposite side of that, and yet when you come on this side it's all boggy and marshy, and then if you traverse up to the top you would end up in the orchards. So very, very interesting. Nice to see people using this path though, a lot of people do. And the thing is, obviously when you're with other people you're not going to feel the same way, but because obviously you're talking to other people, you just don't feel it. But as I've said before, there is definitely something spooky about this, and this is what encompasses it. So we're at the end now, so this is quite a quick walk. That's the end of the cinder path as we know it. If we look down, this is our stream that we're following. But this is what goes back to the original point. What constitutes something being haunted? You know, is it because a lot of people have felt things, not necessarily seen things? Is it because of that? Is it because there's stuff that we can't explain? You know, maybe you've witnessed paranormal events down here. Like I said, the only one paranormal thing that we can sort of speculate about is that my mum's ghost story. Not being biased, I do believe my mum. But a lot of people, I mean, I said, like I said probably previously, was I can probably count about 10 people who would all agree that this place is unlike anywhere else. And even though it's less than a 10-minute walk, there's something very creepy and eerie about this whole path that makes it haunted. And the fact that it's called the cinder path as well, you know, it can make your imagination run wild. I've come down here in all different seasons, types of weather, and obviously if you're not aware of nature itself, those sounds can play tricks on you as well, so you've always got to be aware of it. But we're now coming out of the cinder path, but even if you were to look down, it's quite foreboding. It's very creepy, so it's probably how we're going to leave it really. But again, I'm calling it the most haunted path, or is it one of the most haunted paths in Kent? I don't know. But come down here and experience it for yourself. You might not experience anything, but then what have you lost out on? You've come for a lovely little walk. You've seen a couple of bits of history. You'll eventually lead out onto an abandoned mill. And if you carry on, then you're going to see a lot of farmers' yards and buildings all around that whole area. Beautiful parts of Kent countryside. So again, what have you lost out on? Really? So, you know, it's all about being, you know, in touch with just going out and getting some fresh air, especially in times like this. And it's just an amazing sort of thing. And to know that, like I said, numerous amounts of people have sort of encountered strange paranormal stuff down here, where they felt like they've been watched. You know, we all get that from time to time, but consistently people have said it. They felt it down here, so got to be something to that when you see a lot of people do that. And again, looking back into the cinder path, dark hollow, it's eerie. That's it. So, is this one of Kent's most haunted paths? We'll leave it up for speculation. Be nice if a paranormal group or something came down here, or maybe some spiritualist medium people came down here, got to see some vibes of it, saw what they got to check out. You know, if there's nothing, then there's nothing. But the point is that there's got to be something for all those people to say what they felt. You know, for it not to just be one person. And it is, I mean, as Chloe sort of said when I was speaking to her just a moment ago, the Winfield Mill area of that is creepy, and that's the bit that probably is the most scariest part, so just got to take it as is really. But you know, anyway, in the immortal words of Phoenix History as I come out of here, because history matters, feel free to spread word of the channel, spread the love, and it'll all go to creating more videos and more debate, and we'll go from there. So hopefully you enjoyed this lovely little paranormal jaunt, and I'll speak to you very soon. Take care for now, everybody. Bye.